Hey everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. So the worst fears of a lot of people have been confirmed. Multiple people are starting to get back information in regards to the health of Liv Morgan. It looks like it's going to be on the long-term end of an injury for her, a separated shoulder, which stinks because there's just no two ways about it. Um, I don't know if there's been a more valuable piece to this women's division in WWE than Liv Morgan, considering that she was literally embroiled in like at least two storylines, maybe even three, potentially going into Evolution, SummerSlam, and leading into the fall. And now all of that's derailed. A lot of reporting from WrestleVotes saying that a lot of the original plans have been scrapped or are being reshuffled. There was speculation that Nikki Bella she was advertised for the show, did not show up. I think a lot of this had to do with the fact that, Liv was hurt, like, and she just got injured. Like they had to stall for time after the whole thing early on in the match with Kyrie. Um, and then, they went off the air seemingly they usually go 2.5 hours. They went off the air like a few minutes early. And I think that's because they added on time in certain spots. They had extra time to work with. So, I've already talked about this and kind of run through some things, but, here's a big picture, breakdown of what this is going to look like here. So, short term, this sucks. Short term, this absolutely sucks for WWE because clearly they were putting her in the ring with a Hall of Famer. It might have been a tag team match with Nikki and Brie taking on Liv and Raquel. And then obviously there's something going on with Liv and Roxanne Perez, clearly leading to something. They were planting tension before Raquel's match in the Queen of the Ring tournament. That's something maybe going on with Raquel and Liv. And then Liv, I think, confronted Raquel after she lost because of Rhea Ripley. So that's something that was cooking in this whole thing. In regards to SummerSlam, what that was going to look like, you don't know now, but now she's likely gone for at least a couple of months, which is going to, like, if on the low end, being ambitious, it would have been ambitious for her. It would have been really ambitious for her to make Evolution after that injury. SummerSlam seemed like a snowball's chance in hell. So it sucks. She's out. And that really hurts WWE's overall picture moving forward. Um, that being said, long term, I actually think this could be a good thing because I just laid out all the stories that they had. Clearly, something was going to happen between Roxanne and Liv, and I think that's only going to benefit Roxanne. Roxanne could potentially play the role of Liv Morgan last year and sort of take Liv's life. And Liv, as popular as she is, I think she's better suited to be a babyface. She's done a really good job as a heel, and I think has really kind of nailed this new persona of herself. But I think we're getting to the point of it's kind of being played out, and I think it would make a lot more sense for her to go back to what she was, not being a mean girl and, potentially being the babyface, lovable underdog, like lovable Liv that we loved prior to all the stuff playing out with Rhea and Rhea's real injury that happened right after WrestleMania last year. So, like, short term, this sucks because it's an injury, it derails plans. It was obviously a big opportunity for her to potentially face Nikki Bella at Evolution. But now what this does, it kind of speeds up the timeline and it kind of creates some new opportunities for different people. Because like I said, I think the natural progression and whatever they're going to do is just have Roxanne Perez slide into Liv's role. Just have her slide into that, whether that means she becomes a pseudo champion and you're really taking Liv's spot in defending the tag team titles against the Bellas, whether that's Roxanne just takes Liv's spot and faces Nikki Bella in a one-on-one match at Evolution. I think that's a great opportunity for Roxanne. So you're building stars, and then Liv can come back and be this conquering babyface, which everybody wants to cheer her. You hear the reactions that she's getting. Like, she's one of the best in the business. So I listen, a lot of people are going to be doom and gloom about this whole situation. And listen, in the immediate, aftermath of this, like, it was just a freak accident. It wasn't anybody's fault. It wasn't Kyrie Sane's fault. It was just like it was a normal spot that just kind of a bad landing leads to a separated shoulder. Liv has had some injury issues. specifically shoulder issues in the last couple of years that have kind of, sidetracked her off a little bit in terms of her career. And in the height of really like, one of her biggest moments, and it's ironic that it happens after she had a really, I mean, it was a okay women's world championship run, but it was kind of overshadowed by a lot of the Rhea and Dominic stuff. But she's done a good enough job where, and I gave her flowers, and it's just like I said, a week later she goes down with this injury, and it really kind of throws WWE into a tailspin and trying to figure out. The good thing is they're spoiled for choice. I mean, storyline wise, it's going to be hard for them to make it make sense, but at least they have a natural replacement in Roxanne Perez, and I think this can, in a weird way, be a good thing for WWE to kind of make a story. In the same way that what happened with Rhea and her unfortunate injury that cost her the championship, it led to Liv being the heel, Rhea coming back as a big time babyface, being cheered like crazy, and this whole arc can like we can go in a different direction and kind of elevate this. I'm kind of hoping that at a certain point this becomes not a Judgment Day thing, because the questions, at least from that, now you have Finn Balor embroiled in this because he's got Roxanne, and it's like, okay, what's this all going to lead to? Obviously, like I said, it's a big opportunity for whoever gets Nikki Bella. And, like I said, Nikki doesn't have to necessarily end up facing, Nikki Bella doesn't necessarily end up having to face Liv Morgan. A lot of people are throwing out Io Sky. And Io Sky was another part of this, too, that could have been, thrown into this. And, maybe we get heel Nikki Bella, which I wouldn't hate. I mean, it would be certainly an interesting little pivot that they have, but WWE's got options. So it's a horrible situation in the short term. But long term, I do think that this is a opportunity for WWE to capitalize and do something really good, change the course of Liv Morgan's career. So when she comes back, which is looking like somewhere around August, September, maybe October, there could be something that, you could potentially build her up to do something later in the year, maybe going into early 2026. And, hey, maybe she's got enough momentum. Maybe she can, go out and win the Women's Royal Rumble and potentially, try to, potentially be a champion at WrestleMania. Like, it sucks. Like a lot of Liv Morgan fans were upset when she lost to Rhea and then really just, only had the women's tag team championship at her disposal. And, she was facing Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and there was a story there. So there's a lot of ways that this can go. And I'm not, like I said, I'm pretty broken up in the short term just about like, what's going on with, obviously, you want Liv to get healthy and, be well, because that stinks. But in terms of an overall thing, I think this is her to be away for a little bit. And, obviously let some of these other parts like, cook a little bit. You could potentially have a completely different atmosphere where she comes back even more over and can be, like I said, a lot of people want to cheer Liv Morgan. So this is going to be interesting to monitor as we go through the summer. It's unfortunate, but this is what happens. As they say, this is not ballet, what professional wrestling is. So anyway, thanks so much for watching this. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.